Bonjour, hi, hello. So this video is meant to kind of teach what being a French teacher entails and how you get there. So, first thing we're going to take a look at is keeping organized. Okay, so some skills that help me keep organized, I'm going to show you. So, one of the things that helps me keep organized is here, back here. So these are all papers, and they go by 4 levels of French that I teach. We have French 1, French 2, French 3, and French 4, right? So when I hand out papers or have something that I'm doing, I will put them in here. Okay, any extras that I have left over, so that if a student comes to me and says, I need this paper because they've lost it, I can go right here and pull it out. Everything's kind of digital right now, but this is the system I've used in the past. Other ways I keep organized are with calendars. So I have a calendar by my desk here, comme ça, right? And that's where important dates are held. I also use the calendar that is in my email. So that's important, is to know what dates and when things are happening. Because if I'm looking at something and I don't know what's happening, I miss it. Okay. I also am the auditorium manager, so I have to know when concerts and programs and things are taking place. So having a calendar, whether it be on the computer, whether it be a book that you have, whether it be a physical calendar that you have, really helps me. The last thing I do, one of the last things that I do to keep myself organized, I have a file cabinet. You don't have to have a cabinet, but one helpful tip that I have learned is I color code things. Okay, so my color coding matches my textbooks. So my French 1s, they get blue tests and quizzes, right? My French 2, they get green. Okay, my French 3, they get this orangey color. Okay, sometimes called salmon. They get these. And then my French 4s, they get white. Okay, so you can see white there. So keeping things color coordinated really helps me, because I'm what's called a visual person, a visual learner. So I rely on seeing things to keep myself organized. Not the most organized person, but it does help to keep things color coded and to keep a calendar. Those are some big things for me. So the other thing that I'm going to talk to you about is my education. Okay, so to become a French teacher, I had to go through some steps. So the first thing that I did was I went to Ivy Tech and took like math, English, debate, things like that, what we call core classes. And you take those, I took those at Ivy Tech, and then I transferred after 24 credits to a university. In this case, it was Ball State University. What was that? So I went to Ball State for my what's called undergrad, which means that's the 4 years that you get when you get a diploma. For me, I got what's called a BA, a Bachelor of Arts, okay? Because I was in more like a language type thing. If you took math or science, you get a Bachelor of Science, a BS. So I went to Ball State, and that's where I majored in French. Ball State is in Muncie, Indiana. So after I majored in French, while I was there, another school that I attended was in France. So when you are a language major, if that's something anybody is interested in, whether it be Spanish, French, German, whatever it might be, you usually have to go to that country and study, right? That's how you get really good, or what we call fluent, at a language. So I ended up going to what's called Université de Lille 3, Sciences Humaines et Sociales. So that it's University Lille 3. In France, the universities are a little bit different. This is their logo. This Bibliothèque Centrale is the library. And then this is the campus. You can kind of see there a little bit. I was there. I majored in what's called lettres, which is kind of like humanities, English, languages, things like that. And that's where I went in France. Then, after I graduated from Ball State, I worked in a school, Benton Central, if you might not know them. They're around this area, kind of. And I worked in a life skills room for 2 years, working with students who had autism, some speech impairments, things like that. So they were great students, and I learned a lot there. But I realized I needed a license to actually teach what I wanted to teach. So that's how I ended up at Purdue University. I'm sure you've heard of Purdue University. So Purdue is a big university in Lafayette. Now, I didn't technically graduate from here. I got what is called my teaching certification. So I was there for about a year and a half, around about, and I took classes and I took my teaching classes, and that's where I did my student teaching. Was at a university, Purdue University. So I really went to 4 different colleges or schools after I graduated high school. If you want to be a teacher, you have to pass a test. I had to take 3 different tests. You have to take an English test. At my time, it was called Praxis. I don't think they're called that anymore. But you have to pass an English test, a math test, and whatever your field of specialty is. In my case, I had to take a French test. And when you pass those, then you get a teaching license that is online. Mine is online. You can print them out. Mine I just keep online because I'd probably lose the printout. And then you are able to teach. So this is my 7th year teaching, my 5th year coming up at Twin Lakes. I taught in Indianapolis before coming to Twin Lakes, where I taught English, math, writing, and history. So when you're a teacher, you kind of have to know lots of different subjects. So when your teachers are teaching you, they've studied a lot of different things. So I know I have. So that's a little bit about education and becoming a French teacher. Now I want to teach you some French words. Okay, so some French words that like my French 1 class would learn are, we're going to keep it simple, and we're going to incorporate some hand gestures, right? So the first one, just like in English, you would say hello. In French, you would say bonjour. Bonjour, bonjour. That's hello. Okay, so bonjour. Then you have goodbye. Okay? Au revoir, au revoir, au revoir. That means goodbye. Au revoir. Then we have yes, oui. Now, this one is tricky because it's spelled O-U-I, but it's pronounced oui, oui, oui. Then our next one is non, non. Very similar to English, N-O-N. So oui, non. Bonjour, au revoir, oui, non. Now, in France, a good thing to know is bonjour, hi, au revoir, goodbye. When you walk into a store, you would say these things. Oui, non are good. Then we also have merci, merci, which means thank you. So when you receive something or somebody does something for you, you would say merci, kind of like the word mercy in English, merci. Now, to say please in French is a little bit complicated. When we say please, it is s'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît, please. So, bonjour, au revoir, oui, non, merci, s'il vous plaît. So those are some basic words you would learn in French 1. So hopefully this taught you some things about organization, and my education, how to become a teacher, and then some French words. I love French. It's what I do. It's like my life. So it's always good to keep yourself informed on things. So I read a lot. So I read French magazines. You can see it's written in French here. These are a little bit older. There's also French literature that I'm currently still reading, because once you're out of college, you don't stop learning. You keep going. This is a book that my students read, Le Petit Prince. It's a fun book about a little space person that travels from planet to planet. And then you also have to keep abreast of different subjects, right? So we talk a lot about movies in French. So this book is called Films of the New French Extremity. So that's my upper level French classes. So hopefully this taught you something. C'était très gentil et au revoir.